Imagine the North Sea coast. A gale force, northeasterly wind whips sand up into your face. The rains hanging in your hair. The rollers seem to be miles long. You can see the shadows of the Farne Islands out at sea on the horizon. And you can see the silhouettes of ancient castles behind the dunes. The wind calms, the clouds clear. And a beautiful, almost magical sunlight lights up the strand. If you head southwards towards the mouth of the River Tyne, you see the fishing fleets returning home with the catch of the day, past Shields Bar and into the River Tyne. Further up the river, a man called William Vickers is carrying a stack of papers for them to be bound into a single book. On those papers, he's noted down by hand 600 dance tunes of the day. The year was 1772. And William Vickers called some of those tunes ancient. much. Welcome to the Half-Witted, Merry and Mad William Vickers Northumbrian Fiddle Tunes stream. It's only 4 years late. I released the album 4 years ago in 2018 and never really had the chance to play all the tunes live to an audience. Talking of which, do we have an audience? We do. Hello, welcome. We've got some comments. Uta says, meine Tochter... What? Sounds very happy, she says. Like hobbits. Okay, thanks. And Basti says, hi Andrew. Well, it's great to have you all here. Don't forget to leave your comments. And this is my first time streaming directly only to YouTube. I hope you've all found it. The album these tunes are coming from, you don't have to have it, but if you want to see what it looks like, that's this here, Half-Witted, Merry and Mad. Those, after the introduction, I just thought maybe set the scene of my memories of, first of all, Northumberland on a drizzly, windy day on the beach. There's something beautiful about that too, by the way. And then the sun coming out and just a special type of sunshine that you only really get on the sort of northern part of the eastern coast of the UK. Very sort of special, magical, clear, gentle sunlight. So I just had those memories for me as well, just to get me into the feel of these tunes, which were collected in around 1772 by William Vickers, whoever he was. And the first tunes were The Lily, The Mad Frenchman. The Mad Frenchman was actually quite a mad tune because it's in E flat. That's a very unusual key for fiddle. Euphonium, pretty normal, but for fiddle, pretty mad. I do know a version of that tune in A that my good friend Shona Mooney plays, from Lauder in the Scottish borders. More or less exactly the same tune, just in a more sensible key. And the final tune Vickers calls The Drummer, but there's a lot of different versions, I think, as a song tune and as a Highland pipe tune, because you'll pick up on the way that a lot of these tunes didn't only exist where William Vickers found them. They came often from somewhere else or travelled elsewhere afterwards. Nobody really knows. So how are you all doing? Oh, Leo's writing a review, says Katie. Oh, I better be good then. Drizzly day on the beach, says Ardy Bark. You just washed your hair. I think that's linking back to a comment of me on one of my YouTube videos, having just been for a swim and walking around with wet hair in the wind. Yeah. So here's a couple of tunes. It's track 2 on the CD, of course, and the first one's called The Basket of Oysters. And the alternative title that Vickers marks in his manuscript is Green Sleeves, as in the famous tune Green Sleeves that was attributed to Henry VIII, King Henry VIII. I was going to play it for you and then just for comparison, but everyone knows it anyway, and if I do play it, I won't be able to remember The Basket of Oysters afterwards. It'll put it out of my mind. And the tune after that is another jig. It's a great groovy G minor jig called Tumble Her Over Again. Vickers' titles are often very bawdy, and so that's a sort of mild example. And don't forget to yoop and yelp and dance. That's part of the whole thing with this kind of music. that's Tumble Her Over Again at the end, which is, by the way, is a great tune for the Northumbrian pipes if you play it in A minor. So the next set of tunes are in a 3 time, so you can maybe dance an extremely fast waltz to them. The first couple are in 3/2 time, so you could maybe dance a polka if you have 3 legs. So it's Jack's Gone a Shearing. Obviously sheep farming, very important part of culture and livelihoods in the northeast of England, as a lot of places elsewhere on the British Isles, and obviously was back then as well. The Sunderland lasses, I don't know what they were famous for at the time. I'm not really sure what they're famous for now, and but that's a very well-known tune amongst Northumbrian pipers. So this is a fiddle version of that, and then a tune called Canny Hobby Elliot, which is also a song, or probably was at the time. A lot of these tunes, he also published them with, or he didn't publish them at all, he wrote them down, William Vickers, with the words, if there were any. If I knew what page they were on, I could have a look and tell you, but don't know in that case. So you're in a kind of 3 feel for these tunes, starting with Jack's Gone a Shearing. Any comments? It's great to see you, says Steve Collins, and hear you, Andrew. The audio and video quality are great too. Great to know. Thanks for letting me know, actually. It's always a worry. You never know with the internet. By the way, the drizzly start to the show is kind of like what it's like here as well. There's loft windows just next to me, and the rain's pattering against them, so it's not like someone's frying eggs over there. There's actually rain, but it might not sound like that to you. Here we go. Canny Hobby Elliott. It's a bit of a tongue twister, that one. The next tune is The Hemp Dressers. And it's the only slow tune on the album. And I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a jig. And there aren't really any slow tunes or any tunes in the William Vickers manuscript. By the way, this is it. It's obviously not the actual manuscript. It's the Great Northern Tune Book, which was put together by Matt Seattle. Thankfully, he got hold of the original manuscripts, borrowed it from where it's kept. Well, a bit of a story about the manuscript. It's from 1772, one copy, handwritten. It was obviously the guy's personal notebook, and it went missing for a long, long time and turned up again in Victorian times and came into the possession of the Society of Antiquaries in Newcastle. What a great name for a society. Sounds like some kind of start of a crime thriller or something like that. But they got hold of it and preserved it, and they also published tunes from it in other publications, including the Northumbrian Minstrelsy. But Matt got hold of the entire thing, or a photocopy of it, and went through and edited the guy's mistakes out, because Vickers was just making like shorthand versions of tunes. There were mistakes. He had the wrong key signatures and stuff like that. So I've seen facsimiles of the original thing. It's really hard to read. So he's put it into proper notation form that just normal people can just read, and that's been great, because I went through all 600 of the tunes in here to make this album a few years ago. I just took the ones that appealed to me at the time. I could probably go through again now and make a completely different album, but these were the ones at the time. So very thankful to Matt for that. And yes, so the Hemp Dressers, probably a Southern English jig, because it also turned up in the famous book of tunes that was published in London by Playford, The Dancing Master. It was in there as well, 40 years before. So I just slowed it down and made it into, because it's a beautiful tune, and so I just slowed it down and made it into something just for listening to rather than dancing. The Hemp Dressers. I meant to look up what a hemp dresser is. I think it's something to do with making cloth from hemp. the hemp tresses. So what have we got on comments? You all still here? Tunes, Katie, says Ian Gelston. Thank you. Beautifully played. Thank you very much. And Basti says, absolutely. I'm not sure to what, but yeah, probably, absolutely. Right, I've got a set of reels for you now. And reels back in the 1770s were obviously a lot simpler than they are now. They were a shorter form. Usually 8 bars instead of 16 per part, and just more repetition and just less notes generally, which can make them quite fun actually, can make them quite skippy, and I'll just give them a shot. This one's 3 tunes, The Lads of Saltcoats. Saltcoats is in Ayrshire. So I'll dedicate this to Mary and to Ian, my sister-in-law, and my good friend in Heidelberg, Ian. Both of them are from Ayr. And then there's the Bellman, which has only really been found written down in the Vickers Manuscript, so I'm just assuming that's a northeast tune. Bellman is another word for the town crier. And Sleepy Maggie. Now that's an interesting one because there's the famous Irish tune called Drowsy Maggie. I'll give you a blast of that. It's nothing like that tune. So Drowsy Maggie and Sleepy Maggie are different people. But what the tune is a lot like is the very famous Jenny's Chickens, which just about every session in the world finishes off with. You've probably heard it before. I have put the A part down an octave just to make the A part and the B part sound more different. You'll realise why when I get there. So have a dance, have a whoop, have a yelp. And I don't know how the review's coming on, Leo. I hope it's still positive. So here we go. The Saltcoats, Lads of Saltcoats, the Bellman, and Sleepy Maggie. And Sleepy Maggie doesn't seem very sleepy at all in this tune. Sleepy Maggie finishing that off. Well, I'm going to do a song now. There is a song on the album, although there isn't really that kind of song in the Vickers manuscript, just a few bits of song text, as I mentioned. Just excerpts, really. But I just fancy putting a fiddle singing song on the album and use the excuse that this song, I did check that, this song was around at the time that Vickers made his manuscript, and it was a song that was taught to me by the great singer Nancy Kerr while I was at university in Newcastle, and I just wanted to double check that before I said it, that I did get it from her. And I was flicking through my little notebook of that I used to keep for my lessons, my fiddle lessons, singing lessons, guitar lessons, and quite shocked to see that it was 20 years ago that I was taught this song. So I would have been 22, which is quite funny because the song is sung from the perspective of an old man who is looking at an oak tree and seeing how this oak tree is getting bigger and stronger with its years, while he feels the opposite is happening to him. So I actually performed this at the Sage, I think age 23. I think maybe giving the impression I knew what I was talking about. I don't know. But it's a very beautiful song that I really get into. And I came up with a fiddle arrangement for it, a fiddle singing arrangement, and it's called Ser Field Hinny. Ser Field Hinny, Ser Field Nu, Ser Field Hinny, Sinna kend du. I was young and lusty, I was fair and clean, I was young and lusty many a long year. Ser Field Hinny, Ser Field Nu, Ser Field Hinny, Sinna kend du. When I was young and lusty, I could loup a dyke. Now I'm old and stiff, I can hardly step aside. Ser Field Hinny, Ser Field Nu, Ser Field Hinny, Sinna kend du. When I was 25, I was brave and bold. Now I'm 65, I'm both stiff and cold. Ser Field Hinny, Ser Field Nu, Ser Field Hinny, Sinna kend du. Thus said the old man to the oak tree, Ser Field is I, Sinna kend thee. Ser Field Hinny, Ser Field Nu, Ser Field Hinny, Sinna kend thee. Ser Field Hinny. Well, got some comments. Here is the review so far, says Katie. Yeah, well, I'm on the edge of my seat. That's the stuff. Yup, yoo-hoo. Marks are difficult to decipher, but there are a lot. Well, that's good. Thanks, Leo. Glad you're liking it. And what else have we got? This song is hypnotizing, says Leo. It's beautiful, thank you. Hi, Mum. Hi, Trish. Yeah, glad you're all still with me. It's a very niche concert tonight, as you might have noticed. Please, while you're here on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, because just trying to collect subscriptions for YouTube channels at the moment. I've got this one for my stuff, there's a Broom Besums one, and there's a Bloomer and Katie one. If you could subscribe to all of them, because that's where, well, it's just the easiest channel to use, if I'm honest. The other ones are really confusing, and if you put stuff on YouTube, people see it, and eventually Google will start sharing their money with us as well. It's actually in their rules, so there is method to it. And by the way, at the beginning of March, we'll be doing a Broom Besums stream, so look out for that. We've got some more reels now, and the first one in this set of 3 is on the very first page of the book, of the Vickers Manuscript. And I don't know about you, but when you're flicking through a book, I always just sort of miss the first page out. Do you do that? I do. So I don't think I've ever learned a tune from the first page of a book. Maybe I just think, oh, it's obvious everyone's going to go for that one. But this time I thought, no, I think I will. And there's a great tune called The Sudden Thought. I think it's the 3rd one down from the top. So The Sudden Thought, which kind of reminded me a little bit of Wynnum's Reel, the famous tune from the northeast of England, from Northumberland. And The Life of Man is the one that's after that. I've put a little note under that. What does that say? Oh, there's lots of Scottish versions of that. It pops up in a lot of manuscripts. And The Lads of Our Alley, I think I noted something about that as well. All Over Britain and Ireland. And there's a famous version by the great Irish fiddler Tommy Peoples called Untitled. But I think Lads of Our Alley is the earliest noted version, so we'll claim that one. The Sudden Thought, here we go. the lads of our alley. They're a very frenetic bunch. So I've just in every single one of these tunes I've thought, I'll treat myself to a swig of beer after this one, and then I keep forgetting, so I'm going to do that now. So just excuse me. The beer is actually here. So I'm going to open up a bottle of, I don't have any Northumbrian beer, there's no Wylam on tap here. So I've got some local beer from here, and by the way, welcome to Weisenheim am Sand, welcome to my living room, and this is the local beer from Ludwigshafen, which is just over there, just on the River Rhine, and it's Meyer's. It's a very good beer, this. Really cheap as well. Oh. So what are you all drinking? I need to know. What's the weather like and what you're drinking? Clear these things up. Right, next is the Sheriff's Whim. I think there's a version of that published in London as well, so it's sort of a tune that's been around and about. It's a very beautiful tune. It's in F, which is not that common for fiddle tunes. And then the second tune is the Fiddler's Maggot. Maggot, I think, is a type of tune or dance. I've not encountered these things before other than the titles. And to me it sounds Swedish, but apparently it's popped up in Scotland in manuscripts as well. It's a great fun tune anyway, well, you'll find out in a minute. And then the final one in the set is called By Shields. And I don't know if that means near North and South Shields at the mouth of the River Tyne, or whether it's by William Shields. Was that his name? There's a folk tune composer of the time who would have been around then, would have been very young, because it's country dance by Shields. So I suppose it sounds like he's attributing it to Shields. So here we go, the Sheriff's Whim, Fiddler's Maggot, and By Shields. You can hear the rain. Soothing, actually. That one reminds me of Because He Was a Bonny Lad, quite a lot. It's also good on the Northumbrian pipes, by the way. So this next tune is written down by Vickers as a reel, but as I was learning it as a reel, it's got a very Scottish title as well. It's called Lady Mackintosh. And I was just thinking, this feels like it should be a strathspey. So I don't know whether he wrote it down wrong, or whether it was just me wanting it to be a strathspey, but that's how I now play it, with the strathspey snap rhythm and the driven bow. And it goes into a tune called The Confederacy. The title sort of was slightly off-putting until I looked up the history of these things, and this predates the American Confederacy, and probably refers to an interim government in the Republic of Ireland, a Catholic government linked to the British monarchy, bizarrely. I don't know, one of those moments in history, one of those many moments in history I know nothing about, but sounds very interesting and worth reading up on. So that's the Confederacy. And the final tune is called the Hermione, which sounds to me suspiciously like the name of a ship, but I couldn't find any ships of that name, shipbuilding area, the northeast of England. Couldn't find the name of any ships other than a French ship about 70 years later called the Hermione. So maybe Vickers was looking into the future there. So hold on to your hats. There's some good ones for some yelping. Good changes for some yelps in here. Let's have a look at your comments. Oh, right, yeah, your drinks. Hey, hi, Mary. Ayla and Leo say, hi, Uncle Andrew. Hi, Ayla and Leo. That's my niece and nephew. Lovely to see you. Katie says she's drinking Italian sparkling rosé, and it's snowing. Wow. It was almost like spring here this morning. The birds were singing. It was quite mild. Anna says, beautiful tune. Thank you. And John says he's in Middlesbrough. Was directed to the event by John Twigger, who I bumped into on the island of La Gomera, by the way, a couple of weeks ago. Very nice. At an event there, and he's dropped in. He's finished off his Shiraz, and now he's drinking tea, and he's enjoying the music. Great, thank you. Welcome aboard. So welcome aboard the Hermione. Hermione. Where am I up to? The sailors are all at the bar. Now, there's a little bit of a story about that. Because what are you all thinking? Sailors, bar, nothing unusual about that. And it just made me thirsty. Hang on. Wash it down with some tap water. The bar is probably a reference to the Shields Bar, which isn't there anymore because the river's been dredged. But at the mouth of the River Tyne, it was apparently always very problematic, or often very problematic, to actually enter the harbour because there was a tidal bar, which is just a load of sediment that's been washed down the river. I googled this yesterday, by the way. It's typical at a delta that sediment gets washed down the river, and in the middle of the channel you end up with a big sandbank. And there's even a mention of it in the famous Geordie folk song, "Here's the Tender Coming." Which verse is it? I think it's the second verse. Here's the tender coming, stealing off me dear. Oh, hinny, now they'll press you out of here. Here's the tender coming off at Shields Bar. Here's the tender coming, full of men o' war. A tender being a rowing boat, so they'd probably get past the bar, but not the big warship. So it was an issue at the time, the Shields Bar. The sailors are all at the bar. So I'm just imagining when I hear that tune that the wives back home, the wives and the families back home are thinking, where are they all? They should be home by now, and worrying. And someone spotted them all stuck out at the bar, unable to get up the river. The one after that is Ducks Dang Ower Me Daddy. Anyone's guess. If anyone has any idea what that means, it's actually a very straight D major jig, a very danceable jig, I'd say. And then my favourite title of all from the Vickers Manuscript, Gallop and Shite. The alternative title given by Vickers is The Cow's Current, which I just think is, if you can call it Gallop and Shite, then do so. You don't need an alternative, do you? So, here we go, some jigs. Thank you very much. Well, this is some a beautiful tune now. I think it might be a match. It's called Kitty, Will You Marry Me, Kate? It's the only tune of all 600 that has a romantic title. So that had to go on there. And then he spoils it instantly because the next tune is The Devil in the Bush. And the third tune is called The Hexham Lasses. Any Hexham Lasses here? Here we go. Kitty, will you marry me, Kate? Thank you very much. Well, I've come to the final track on the album and the final tune set of the evening. Thank you all very, very much for joining me on this. It was a labour of love putting this project together. Thanks to all of you out there who bought the CD or reviewed the CD favourably. Thankfully, everybody did, and thanks for logging in and supporting me on this gig. It's been great to share these tunes with you finally in a live setting, even though I can't really see you or hear you. If you want to donate, it's a free concert with a tip jar, and the tip jar is in the description of the video at the top. Hopefully there should be a link there, and anything is very much appreciated towards the making of the film. And so we're going to finish off officially with a set of tunes, quite a mixed bag set of tunes. The first one's called the West Indian, which is a hornpipe, and I was quite surprised that even in 1772 these the famous Newcastle hornpipe style was starting to emerge, the 4/4 hornpipes with the dip 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 rhythm. So this is called the West Indian, and interestingly, I can't remember how I found this out, but there was a West End play in London called the West Indian around the same time, and there was a character in that play who was a sailor called Jackie Tar, and he danced the hornpipe, and that was the first time sailors and hornpipes were connected in popular culture, apparently, according to whatever source I read that in once. It's in the sleeve notes of the CD. The sleeve notes of the CD aren't in the sleeve of the CD. They're on my website at andrewcady.de. So if you want to read up what I found out about these tunes, mostly from Matt Seattle's notes, but a little bit of my own research too. And then the second tune is called The Sailor's Delight, which is really strange. It's like a 9/8 jig, but it's got loads of little extra notes in it. Not really sure what it is, but it's really cool and quite extraordinary. And the third and final tune is called The Cellar Door Key. What a great mysterious name for a tune. And it's basically the same melody as the song, the Scottish song, Come Ye, I can't remember, I can never remember what it's called. Yeah, it is that, Come Ye O'er Frae France, which was a bit of a jibe at the German king at the time in London. So, yeah, thank you once again, and I hope you enjoy these tunes. And if you want more, I might be persuaded. Let's see how we get on. Hi to Elowen. So I got the third, by the way, I forgot to say, I got the first of the tunes. It's the only one on the whole album that I already knew. And I got it from Stuart Hardy, the great fiddler and fiddle teacher based near Blythe. And so he's already done a CD quite a long time before I did of tunes from the same manuscript, but just mostly different tunes. So there's a bit of crossover here. The West Indian. Thank you very, very much. Have a lovely evening. Bye. You're still here. It says more here. Zugabe. I think there's quite a long delay in the comments coming through as well. It's my excuse. Anyway, I've got this lovely song for you. It's a very well known Geordie folk song called Dance to Your Daddy. And this is it. So it's a dandling song. It's a dandling song. So dandling is, in this case, it's the granddad dandling the grandson on the knee, and just watching different members of the family go past, talking about them. Mother singing to herself, "What a great woman." Dad's drunk again. Your Tommy's, your uncle's always in a bit of a mess, but he's always good to me. And then he says, "And me, well, when no one's looking, I like to have a little bit of whiskey, and when you're my age, so will you." And every verse has a fish, and in the very last verse, where they think about getting whiskey, they have a salmon. So it's a song about wishing for prosperity. And sing along if you know it. Sing along if you don't know it as well. Hear me, little Jackie, now I've smoked me backy. Let us have some cracky till the board comes in. Dance to your daddy, sing to your mammy. Dance to your daddy, to your mammy, sing. You shall have a fishy on a little dishy. You shall have a fishy when the board comes in. Yonder comes your mother like a canny woman. Yonder comes your father drunk, he cannot stand. Dance to your daddy, sing to your mammy. Dance to your daddy, to your mammy, sing. You shall have a fishy on a little dishy. You shall have a haddock when the boat comes in. Tommy's always fuddling, he's so fond of ale, he's very kind to me, hope he'll never fail. Dance to your daddy, sing to your mammy. Dance to your daddy, to your mammy, sing. You shall have a fishy on a little dishy. You shall have a bloater when the boat comes in. Me and like a droppy when I get it sly, and you me bunny ban, you'll like it wheeler's eye. Dance to your daddy, sing to your mammy. Dance to your daddy, to your mammy, sing. You shall have a fishy on a little dishy. You shall have a mackerel when the boat comes in. May you get a drop oft as we stand in kneading wheel, may the keel row that brings the bands their breed. Dance to your daddy, sing to your mammy, dance to your daddy, to your mammy, sing. Dance to your daddy, sing to your mammy, dance to your daddy, to your mammy, sing. You shall have a fishy on a little dishy, you shall have a salmon when the boat comes in. Thanks very much. Take care of yourselves. The CD is available at andrewcady.de. Just Google it, and I'll see you next time. So Broom Besom Stream, beginning of March, and after that I'll do another one, probably a different theme again. So see you soon.